because we have such an amazing crowd that they're clapping for you. Okay, so Greg Olsen, Panthers tight end, back on First Take. I want to say, first off, you came back on in November.
Yep.
You said you guys would make it to the playoffs. A bunch of us said, okay, well, maybe.
You guys looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
And obviously, as I said just a few moments ago before we went to break, you made your very first Pro Bowl. It's been 8 years. How was that?
It was a great experience. My family and I, we made the most of it. We really enjoyed it.
Hey, you caught 2 touchdowns.
He did.
Nearly a third.
And
You had a chance.
I know. We had a chance. We came up a little short. We ended up losing, but overall, the week was an amazing experience.
It was worth it.
It was.
All right. Well, before we talk about the Panthers, let's talk about another bowl. You say in fact the Patriots will win. Why is that? Justify your pick.
So obviously we haven't beaten Seattle, so I know that people think that,
right.
that I'm probably a sore loser.
Bitter.
But just having played them a little while ago, I think everyone knows what they are, right? They're an amazing defense. They're going to get after you. They're going to play the same fronts every time. I think what they thrive on though is, especially in late in the season, they want the offense to turn the ball over. They want to capitalize short fields and let that offense go and be opportunistic. I think Brady, these big games, that offense, I don't know if they're going to just hand the ball over. I don't know if they're going to make those crucial mistakes that Seattle needs to capitalize on to try to get that offensive side of the ball moving. I think Brady and them will have some matchups. I think the Gronkowski matchup is going to be a big one. I think there are some plays to be made there. And I think defensively, the Patriots are good enough to contain Russell Wilson in that offense. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the difference will be that I don't think they'll make those crucial turnovers and big mistakes.
I haven't made my decision yet. That will come Friday. But what I will say to you is that this is a pick'em Super Bowl as far as I'm concerned, because I can see strength with both teams. What I'm concerned about is this. If I'm the New England Patriots, or if I'm a fan of the New England Patriots, I'm wondering how tough they are in this respect. The Denver Broncos were tough last year. Right up until the moment they got to the Super Bowl, first pass over the middle to one of the Thomases, and Cam Chancellor put some wood on him. From that moment forward, you just saw some tippy-toeing going on, and they didn't seem to be as anxious to go across the middle of the field any longer. Now, I don't anticipate that is something that will happen to Gronkowski. Julian Edelman, perpetually injured Danny Amendola, I'm not so sure. So what do you think about that? I mean, Seattle's one of those teams, they've got rough riders. And I think that they can snatch your heart. I don't know. I don't believe that will happen with Tom Brady. But some of the other pieces, I don't think it'll happen with Gronk either. But some of the other pieces, I'm just not so sure.
Yeah, I think Julian Edelman is as tough as they get. If you watch him, I mean, he might be small or he might not look like some of these other guys, but he's tough as nails.
Okay.
You said Gronkowski. Tom Brady hasn't backed away from anyone. He's not scared of anybody. Then you go to the running back. I think Blunt can just get after you. I think you hand the ball to him 25 times a game. I think his physical presence can match that physical style.
I agree with that, but question. Is there any defense in the AFC that reminds you of anything reminiscent of Seattle or what they're?
Yeah, I think from a physical standpoint, when you go play Baltimore Ravens and those Pittsburgh Steelers over the last couple of years, those are physical styles. Now, they may not match the dominant statistics. I mean, what Seattle has done these last couple of years on defense is unrivaled, right, in this era. But as far as that physical, tough mentality of a defense, I think that's what the Ravens have been, the Steelers have been. So I think they do see that style. But what I want to say is you talk about the game changed on that first play over the middle. But don't forget what happened on play 1. What did I say in the opener? Critical turnover, critical mistake that opened the floodgates. First play of the game, you snap the ball over the quarterback's head when he comes up to the line. I don't see, now you'd say going in that Peyton Manning wouldn't make those mistakes, but I'd be shocked to see Tom Brady and that offense, which is just a well-oiled machine. I'd be shocked to see them make those critical errors and just have the floodgates open and pass the momentum.
But even if Tom Brady did make that mistake, you don't see him cracking under pressure.
Oh, no.
Peyton couldn't recover.
Yeah, true. I think from there it steamrolled and it got out of control. I think that game last year is not going to be this year. I think that was an anomaly. I think that game just got so out of hand so fast, and next thing you know, they blinked and they were getting blown out and it was over. I don't think that's the case this year. I just would be shocked to see a New England team that we've seen for 10 years be so consistent week in, week out, year to year. I don't see them just having a collapse and a meltdown like that. I just don't see it happening.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm losing track how many times you've lost to the Seattle Seahawks. You've lost once in the last, what is it? Each of the last 3 years?
I'm losing track. How many times have you played them?
None. Touche. Okay, but now a positive point. I don't think in any of those games they ever snatched your heart because they were all reasonably close games.
Sure.
Okay, so this game will revolve around how Seattle deals with Gronkowski. Maybe we could argue that your games revolved around how they dealt with you being the primary target of your quarterback, the safety net target of your quarterback. So how did they play you? How did they contain you? Was it always Cam Chancellor, or did they mix that up quite a bit?
So when they want to play man, I mean, everyone knows what they're going to be. They're going to have one safety in the middle of the field. Most of the time it's going to be Earl Thomas. Cam Chancellor is going to be down in the box, linebacker-type guy, but athletic enough to match up with most tight ends, if not all. Right? That's who they are. That's what they're going to be. They're going to have 8 guys in the box, and they're going to say between Earl Thomas and our 2 corners, and with Chancellor being able to come in and out, that they're going to stop. They're going to make you so one-dimensional, but they're going to be able to be good enough in the passing game with just one high safety. With Gronkowski, there'll be plays to be made. There are going to be some seam balls with the way they want to play that single high stuff. If he gets up in that seam, how Brady gets the ball out, bangs it on his chest. You see it once a game. He's going to have a 25, 30-yard play up the seam. Those plays are going to happen. You're not going to entirely take Gronkowski out of the game. What they need to do and where they do succeed is down in the red zone. Every game when the Patriots get down the red zone, you see they flex Gronkowski out. They want to run him on slants and those follows and those ins, and they use his big body, and Brady just fires it in there and he muscles it up. If they can keep him from having those plays from the 5-yard line in, that's more important than them stopping him in the field because he's going to make his plays. He's too good, and they're going to go to him too many times.
What percent did Cam have you solo in those games? What would you
they
say?
don't play a ton of man, so every time they did play man, he was mostly the guy on me. But they want to be a zone team. They want their corners to play off. They want to keep.
Can Gronkowski beat him solo? Can he get a step
I think they're both going to win matchups. I think Cam Chancellor is as good a player as there is in the league. I have as much respect for him as a player than any guy we played this entire league. His physical attitude. He's athletic. He's big. He's strong. He's a force. He is a heck of a player. If not, I mean, a lot of their other guys get a lot. Sherman's a heck of a player. He gets a lot of, accolades and what. I think Cam Chancellor, he's the cog to that defense, in my opinion. I think so. I think he's super.
Real quick question. We talk about LeGarrette Blount. What about the running game that Russell Wilson provides? Because you can't prepare for that.
No, it's true. He brings an added. When you come in to play the Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton. That's a focal point of our offense is the ride reads and the quarterback runs. With Seattle, it's a little different. You do see him run for 60, 70 yards, but it just appears different, right? It's not necessarily he'll hand it, which he should to Marshawn. But then all of a sudden, that one time he pulls it, it goes for 30. It goes for 20. Right. Those are the plays that break your back. And then all of a sudden, those DNs start hanging, and now Marshawn's just ripping it up the middle. That's a huge piece of their offense. They might not do it a lot, but when they do it, it's extremely effective.
What about Seattle's speed? Because let me tell you something. When you talk about Tom Brady and what he's going to throw at them, whether it's LeGarrette Blount, whether it's Gronk with Edelman and Amendola and all these boys, in the end, Seattle's speed can be the difference. And I say all of that to say, the New England Patriots lost 2 Super Bowls, primarily because the New York Giants were able to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Seattle, can they get to Tom Brady?
I think they can. I think the difference is this Tom Brady-led offense in New England. I think the only thing that can rival speed, right? Windows are tight. Those guys are closing hard. Is timing. I think timing, getting the ball out of your hand. They're very precise. Those routes are to the exact yard. You're going to come out 3rd step, 4th step, whatever, and that ball is going to be on your chest. So it might be tight windows, it might be tight coverage, but he's going to get the ball out. He's not going to sit there and hold the ball and put pressure on his offensive line. He knows how to combat these kind of fronts and these kind of defenses. I think their timing, their preciseness of their offense, where guys need to be, I think they present a lot of problems.
We asked you the last time you were on, when you guys were down, to talk about the growth of your quarterback, Cam Newton. Now you're up. You did win the division. You won a home playoff game. Give us some insight into what you saw in the growth of Cam Newton this year.
I mean, I think that final 5 weeks after we last met kind of sums up what he's all about, right? Everyone was down on us, down on him, all of us individually, all of us collectively. They were down on just the entire season. It was a waste. What are we playing for? Should he be every question under the sun was raised.
Right.
And you know what? When you're playing poorly and you're 3-8-1, maybe rightfully so. But then to come back, we struggled against Minnesota out of the bye. Went up there on the road, just an implosion. We played poorly. Fine. Now the season really looks lost. We come back. We go on the road to a division team, which we're fighting for our lives just as they are. And we thoroughly dominate New Orleans.
Did you?
That Monday, he gets in a car wreck.
That's what I want to know. Did that car wreck change him in some way?
I think it just shows just
the
the mental toughness to be able to just continue to fight. It was at the point where what more could go wrong? We just finally played to the level we all talked about.
Okay.
We were good passing game, no huddle. We were running the ball. Defensively, we suffocated them. That was who we were in 2013.
Yeah.
And now here we finally find it. And now on our day off, we find out our star quarterback gets in a car wreck and he's out. We didn't know at the time how long. Turned out to be one game.
Right.
Fine. Backup quarterback DA comes in. We win a home game against another division opponent. Then Cam comes back. And to come back and not skip a beat and continue to win, beat Cleveland. Then to go with the division on the line and win in Atlanta with everything on the. I think that just shows what he's all about, right? Not everything's going to be perfect. You're not going to throw for 300 yards every game and to continue to keep your head down and just fight and fight and fight and come out the other end. That's what you want in a starting quarterback. That's what you're looking for.
On the outside looking in, it looked as if he was having more fun. Like he found his
winning's
joy
fun
again. You know what I mean? Because he was so miserable.
Winning's fun.
Yeah. So congratulations. We're glad at least you guys made it to the playoffs. You told us we didn't believe you, so we owe that to you.
We do.
Sorry.
And one day, perhaps soon, you'll beat Seattle, right?
Maybe one day.
Wait. We leave it there. Coming up next, folks, Brandon Bronner made a promise to himself when he played with the Seahawks. He plans to fulfill it